included in a bit of clay there. Smoke bit tiny little spinner. Too easy. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Interesting one this. Good folks at DNT sent me out a day-night vision optic to try out. This particular model is the DNT ZULUS ZHT 3:12 times LRF. So this little model is the one with the rangefinder and the ballistic calculator. Just running through basically what you get in the box, though it's already attached. In the box you will get the user manual. Now guys, it'll become more apparent in a video later, but I implore you, please read the instructions. Don't do the usual bloke thing, think yeah it's just a generic optic and I can get by without reading the instructions. Don't do it, trust me. Read it through. When you play around with this scope, the time and place to do it is either on a range or in good daylight. Do it before you actually sort of faff around going hunting or anything. Make sure you familiarise yourself with all the controls. More on that in a bit. So in the box, got to say, lovely packaging. Thumbs up to DNT for that. In the box you get a USB data link cable, that's the C-type. You get some little wet wipes. You've got the star Allen key for attaching the optic to your rifle, and got some mounts as well. These are 20mm Picatinny Weaver style mounts. Yeah, they came into the box. Sorry, I got myself confused then. Now you may be wondering guys, you can see this is mounted on an HW57 which is dovetails. However, I've got some dovetail to Picatinny adapters underneath here, but more on that in a bit. I want to talk about the little scope first because it's an absolutely awesome bit of kit. You have a flip up cover. You have fast focus objective here. More on that in a bit, because to be fair that's my only little gripe with this unit. At the rear it came with a rubberized eye cup. If you're using a Springer or a recoiling rifle, I'd definitely recommend using that to save you getting scope eye. It has the ocular adjustment here, so basically you turn the power on the unit, you then look through like the optic and you adjust that until the screen inside is displayed in sharp focus. Don't worry about the target or whatever you're aiming at downrange, it's all to set it to your eyes to make sure this is like the crosshair and all the menus and stuff are focused to your eye. Then when you look through at the target downrange, at different ranges you'll use this little adjustment wheel here to bring it into sharp focus. Like I say, this one is the ballistic calculator one. And rangefinder. On the side here you'll see this has got the IR illuminator, nice touch built in. This takes an 18650 battery flat top one. You can adjust the beam in and out, like focus the beam. It's also got I think 4 or 5 adjustment brightness levels which you access through the menu on the scope. this little red button here, if you press this will activate like the LRF and bring up the distance to target. This little unit you can attach, you can download an app on your phone. Once you've got that set in, I'll just briefly show you the app, because I thought this was a neat feature, because this has got Wi-Fi and Bluetooth capability. You can then go onto the DNT app and you enter in basically all the good stuff which you need to do, like the height from the scope to the bore or the barrel, humidity, the ballistic coefficient of whatever projectile you use, and the muzzle velocity, humidity, elevation, so on and so forth. Then you can either, through your app, you can then get your hold points at different ranges, and that will bring it up inside the scope like your hold off. So I thought that was a really neat feature. I like that. Not that I use it, because if I would use that more if I was shooting at 50 metres and beyond, maybe with a 22 rimfire or 17 HMR or centerfire rifles, say out foxing. Got to say, the image clarity on this little unit is absolutely superb. Now I apologise, and this is not to detriment of this unit or DNT, some of the footage which you've seen and will see later on in the video, it may not be at the highest resolution. That's purely because the YouTube won't let me load it up at the highest resolution I can, but trust me, when you go through the scope it is pin sharp. And also on some of the footage I didn't adjust like the focus at the end, so it was, when it's been shown on like the laptop, it is not as sharp as the image as what it's truly capable of. I mean, it's a full HD image on there, and it's extremely pin sharp and good. On the top, I'll just run through briefly the controls. Here you've got a little wheel here. The base magnification is 3 times and it goes right the way up to 12. You can just spin this little wheel here and it will zoom in, zoom out. Excellent feature. On off button, menu button, daylight settings, brightness of the unit, and the record button. The menu inside is really intuitive to use. It is really easy, even for an idiot like me. I found it very easy to use. I've taken it on the range. I've put it on a PCP, as you've seen on previous videos where I was testing out the EBA Arms XV-RS PCP. It performed flawlessly with that. But my big test was, now I know most scopes, night vision optics can handle like PCPs easily. They're a recordless system, so there's going to be no issues. I know on 17 HMR, 22LR and say 243 they have a recoil impulse, but it's straight back, and that doesn't usually affect scopes as much as a good old Springer does. So I mounted it on the Springer, and I reckon I shot at least 300 to 400 rounds through this little system yesterday, well, through the rifle with the system attached. Not once did it lose zero. It shot flawlessly. I had no scope creep, no shift in point of aim or anything. It held at zero, and yeah, it's nothing rattling on it or anything like that. It's just performed really well, and I'm very impressed indeed. Comes with, you can change by pressing this button quickly. You can, like the quick press, you can change the colour of your reticle. A bit of advice for you guys: if you're out in daytime hunting with this, not so much on the range, but definitely hunting they've got a predominantly green background. I would recommend using a highly contrasted reticle to it. I found shooting with the green reticle against a green background like grass and trees and stuff, the green was quite hard to pick up. However, changed it to white or indeed black and it was absolutely fine. I believe I know the colours of the reticles are red, yellow, green, black and white, so you pick your choice what suits your eyes. So I found at night time the red one was absolutely superb. It's got a one-shot zero capability, but me being me, because I trust no one and no bit of kit, I'll always put 5 rounds through it anyway, because even though it's wasting pellets and I didn't need to, I'll always do it to combine it. Inside, it's got 2 meters on either side. It'll show you the inclination of the scope, where sort of the angle. It's also got a cant meter on there as well, which is absolutely excellent, so you'll soon find out if you're tilting the scope at all. And that's about it, really. What I will say is, as good as this unit is, and it is extremely good, the only gripe I have with it is I haven't got excessively large hands here, guys, but if you're like me, I prefer keeping control of the rifle via the pistol grip. So the faff for me was, you've got the illuminator, the LRF unit there. I found to adjust the unit backwards and forwards, it's just, well, your fingers catch on the illuminator, and though it's very smooth, it's quite stiff, and it's a bit of a faff doing it, but I mean, other than that, I mean, it's a minor gripe on my part. What I will say, and this is a word of caution, you can set this up on, I think, A to E profiles. Now, this caught me out, and this is why it's very important to read the instructions and play around with it indoors and not faff around when you're out actually hunting. I took it out rabbit shooting, and I got to say, I was in a very target rich environment. I don't know what happened. I think the cast of Watership Down came out to play that night. There were Flopsy Mopsy Cottontail and all his cousins and brothers and sisters coming out to play, and I took some shots and I was getting some unexplained misses, should we say. I fired back 5 shots before I said, whoa, that's enough, purely because even though I'd zeroed the unit down on the range, I couldn't hit bugger all, and they were all within range. Now, I got in contact with DNT and sought their advice, because I didn't know if it's a problem with the unit. I checked the rifle was shooting sweet, there was no issues with the rifle, and they got back to me. They suggested 1 or 2 things which I'd already sorted out, which were making sure it was mounted correctly and so on and so forth, and did I press like the long save button when I'd record it. But what I'd actually done, guys, now this will save you making a schoolboy error like me. Before you go shooting, make sure you set this little scope on the profile, what you zeroed it in on. I found out what I'd done, and I only found this out on range the next day when I took it down to find out what was going on. I'd changed the profile from the A profile to the E. So basically I was on the factory default setting almost, and my shots were going back 2 foot low and 2 foot to the right. So the bunnies had a very lucky escape that night. I've got to say, I went back out, I had it, got it all zeroed. And the second thing I've got to say is, this is a schoolboy error on my part, but I can only apologise to you, the viewers, and DNT. I recorded some cracking wildlife footage, but when I thought I was recording, I was turning the record off, and when I was turning it on, thinking, hang on, when I start again, I'm getting myself confused. Basically, I recorded the pre-shoot video, but didn't record the actual money shot, should we say. So, unfortunately for you guys, you're going to see no shot rabbits, which will probably be good, because then YouTube aren't going to get their knickers in a twist and demonetize this video, which they do. So you'll see lots of rabbits hopping about, and you'll see why I got flustered and pressed the wrong, well, I pressed the right button but done it back to front. But by God, there were some bunnies back. I've now got this mounted on a Springer. I'm going to take this out hunting with it on the Springer. DNT kindly allowed me to keep it a little while longer so I can get some extra footage on here, because obviously I've been quite ill anyway with the good old Chinese flu, shall we say. But yeah, how would I rate this little unit on a venometer scale? Great, yeah, this is a 9.5 all day long, and the only reason I've even marked it down in my mind like half a point is because the fiddling around with like the focus lens at the front. If you're a lefty, a left-handed shooter, you're not going to find that an issue, but as you can see, if I point this at the camera, when I'm trying to adjust this, it's just, that is what it is. I mean, it's something what isn't a deal breaker. However, if this, even though it's nice and grippy on the surface, if it had a throw lever or something on there to assist with like fast focus, it would be a 10 out of 10. Yeah, it's just an awesome bit of kit. It records audio. What I will say about it is, the first time I was out bunny bashing, I'm glad I didn't record all the audio, because after my second miss at Flopsy, sitting probably 20 metres away, the air turned blue, but hey ho, it's what it is. Yeah, and basically enjoy the rest of the video. You've got some range footage. Seen some range footage to start. You'll see the clarity of it at night time. You'll see all the bunnies, which unfortunately I didn't recall getting like rolled over, but it is what it is, and some more range footage. And yeah, the awesome bit of kit. I highly recommend it. Link in the description down below if you're interested in this little unit. Like I say, this is a 3 to 12 times LRF ZHD ZULUS. Oh, and before I go, one quick, not a negative, but something to be aware of, guys. Close range, the base magnification on this is 3 times power, and that may not sound a lot, but it really brings in your target like very close. And I found shooting close range targets at under 15 metres, it's so zoomed in, you kind of have to take your time on target acquisition, should we say. It was almost like it was zoomed in far higher mag. Shooting at long range, that's not an issue, but when you're shooting stuff like rats very close in, what a quick moving and stuff, that's just something to be aware of. Not a negative on the scope, let's say cracking bit of kit, and one I'd happily recommend to you guys. Cheers guys, and it's going to be a happy new year from me, and stand by for some more footage of this being used on various guns, and stand by for the other videos coming out. And I've got to say a big thank you to DNT for kindly sending this out for me to test, and it's one of them units I'll be very, very sad to return, but you never know. I'll give it a bit more testing, and I might be sticking my hand in my pocket and getting it anyway, because it is that good unit. You know, on this channel I won't promote rubbish. This definitely isn't rubbish. It's a really, really capable and good night vision unit, and it is solid, guys. Cheers very much, and catch you next time. Oh my goodness, there's more rabbits. Oh my goodness, there's more rabbits. Right guys, on the range there's a ZHT 3-12 by ZULUS scope, and it's attached to an HW57 now stringer. I'm shooting at 35 meters, and we'll see what this little gun can do in this scope. Practical. It's the same hole in it now, guys. I'll keep the camera footage rolling so you guys can actually see, and then I'll zoom in. Yeah, it's sort of going through the same hole. What I'll do is I'll zoom right in so you guys can see the clarity. Right, let's wind this in. As you guys can see, I've now put 3 shots through that same hole at 35 meters. Outstanding. Oops, that was me, guys. I was getting excited. I'm very happy to report this little gun has passed the Springer test as far as I can see. Scope, should I say. Yeah, I'm more than happy with that. Just so you guys can see the clarity of this scope, I'll wind right the way out, and if I adjust this little one, there we go, guys. That pallet in the background right up there is 45 meters. This one here is 35 meters. I'll see if I can ping it and see if it'll... No, it won't pick it up. Right, cheers guys. I'll turn the recording off and do a little practice shooting. Right guys, 30 meters, we'll try the shotgun cartridge test with a little ZULUS and the HW57. This is an absolute joy. Right. Unfortunately, I haven't got my mints with me today, so oh, there's a bit of shotgun clay pigeon there. Huge target, but it should shatter quite nicely. Ooh, cold fingers. I'll just pop one more off so you guys can see what the ZULUS footage is like and what the 57 does. Too easy. I'll wind this out a little bit so you can see. Right, cheers.